review from howtocigar.com. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Cody.
Today, we're reviewing the Room 101 o.s.o.k.
Which is actually stands for One Shot, One Kill. Pretty badass. This was created by Matt Booth, Room 101 was, and he has a bunch of crazy designs that are really just kind of beautiful and intricate, and he's applied those to a bunch of things like clothes, accessories, and now even cigars, which is this right here. Very kind of unique, wrapped in this paper, and these were actually created by Camacho, which is a Davidoff group. Basically what this cigar is a new take on a cigar that has a very, very long history, a great tradition, along with it, the cigar manufacturer at least, and has been reapplied for a new generation of people. You know, it's something that really sparks interest in people my age, the younger crowd, and I'm really looking forward to just seeing what the blending that they've put into this cigar has to offer.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the design is fantastic. They did Room 101. It is a design house, and they're featured in lots of high fashion and high style type of settings. The question is this cigar a sheep in wolf's clothing?
Yeah. All right, this cigar is about 8 inches long. It's about a 60 by 44 ring gauge. It actually, you can't see it here, but it changes throughout the cigar. It's kind of a unique wrap, and what it's made out of is the wrap itself is an Ecuadorian Habano, the binder is Honduran Corojo, and then the filler is Honduran Corojo, along with a Dominican Piloto Ligero, which is very unique. I've never smoked anything that is kind of blended that way, so I'm really looking forward to see how that blend plays out. All right, what he's showing you there is not the cigar itself, but the just wrap that they put around the cigar with some of that Room 101 decoration, and just you can see the intricate design that they've put into the wraps that they put around each of these cigars. And here in a bit, we'll actually take that off and take the actual tissue that is wrapping the cigar that you can see right there to kind of just keep it safe with that paper around it. We'll take that off and show you the cigar itself. All right, what he's showing you there is the label of this cigar, which is a very simple yet elegant label. Love it. Just kind of plays off the badassness of this Room 101 design. You can kind of see that he's showing you the body of the cigar, that light oil that is on it, which I always love. It really just lets you know that this is definitely a premium cigar. And just the shape of the cigar itself that you can see here is you know, it lets you know that this was also rolled by someone who knew what they were doing. This is a triple cap cigar as far as we can tell, and very looking forward to lighting it up and just seeing what this new shape, new design from an older company has to offer. Alright, we're back. We're about, you know, 10 minutes in or so, kind of getting through that 60 gauge part of this cigar, that really big part. You know, in the beginning, as far as flavor, I think, you know, I had a couple real bitter notes, kind of like a dark coffee, something like that. You know, my ash is holding together a lot better than yours, just because it's an odd roll as far as I'm concerned, so probably the ash is going to be a little different, a little less reliable, but mine has some decent striations. It's holding together all right. Yours, on the other hand, you lit it at kind of an odd angle, and it, you know, it had a little runner, but it's starting to catch up to itself. What do you think as far as flavor and the build so far?
Well, as far as the flavor, I totally agree. When I first started smoking this cigar, it had quite a bit of spice, and I was a little concerned that it was going to be too spicy for my palate, but that's settled down and does pair well with the Scotch, which I think also helps kind of tone the flavors down just a little bit. It's a very good cigar.
Alright, we're back, and we are about halfway through this one shot, one kill. But halfway through it now, I'm just not quite impressed with it. I think it probably has too much hype for what it really is, you know, and that kind of gets into what, you know, is it a sheep in wolf's clothing? You know, something we mentioned earlier. You know, what do you think about it?
Honestly, it's been treating me better than it's been treating you, and I'll tell you, a lot of it has to do with the libation and the pairing. Yeah. I've been pairing it with a single malt Scotch that's pretty sweet and has covered a lot of the the tones in this cigar up, and so it was a little more enjoyable for me than it was for you.
Well, and I've been trying to keep it down to just some water if I'm going to drink something, so that I really can just get the flavor of the cigar itself, and it's just not that impressive to me.
But, you know, this is really going to have some flavor notes that are not going to sit well with a lot of people. Like, say, if you're pairing it with something sweet, it's probably going to be okay, but, you know, I would say, to me, at this point, it definitely seems to be, like you said, if you take away the marketing, if you take away that hype and you take away the shape and you were just smoking this, you know, it seems like it would probably be an average cigar, you know, very traditional average cigar. I mean, it does seem like it's a good cigar, but it's not great to me. I mean, it does have, I could definitely, so far, at the halfway point, smoke this cigar, be happy. It's not going to be, definitely not my go-to preference of cigars. As far as flavor, I have different preferences, and I think most people probably will too. In the right setting, you know, in the right crowd, this will have some draw to it, but you're probably going to find a smaller percentage of those smokers that actually enjoy it.
All right, we're back, and we're just about to the finish of the cigar. We're getting ready to about take the label off. And we just kind of want to give you the overall finish of the cigar, body, taste, and build, the X factor. So let's start at the top. What do you think about the body?
Well, the body, you know, honestly, it's, from the looks of it, you'd think, wow, it's probably going to be full. Definitely from the name and the packaging, it looks kind of scary.
Yeah.
You think it'd be a full cigar, but honestly, it's definitely just in that solid medium range for me.
Yeah, even at parts, I would say it was more mild. Never had a real full body, which is odd because, you know, I'd read about it and stuff. I read, and everywhere it says medium, full body, solid. But no, I'm thinking a lot more medium, definitely no full.
What do you feel taste-wise?
Taste-wise, you know, it's a very bitter cigar. Very bitter and has a little bit of spice to it, a little peppery. But, you know, from the beginning to end, that 60H part, it was really hard for me, which is kind of what really disappointed me, is I didn't get hardly any flavor at all. So I was at least glad to get some flavor at the end. I wouldn't say it made it worse, but I don't think, like you said, it made it any better. So, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, you know, honestly, totally agree. It seemed like it was a very, had a lot of just bitter notes, and that's without even trying to roll it off. I'm not trying to pick up the bitter notes. They're just there. It's just what the cigar is. It is just on that bitter side. You can pick that up on the front of your tongue. And, you know, also, it's got kind of a slight unpleasantness. I think all that bitter tobacco in there, it kind of, every now and then, it's too much. It just kind of falls short of expectations. I think it kind of falls short of what could have been done. And, you know, really, I think kind of a letdown, honestly, in that taste category. It's not bad, it just is a letdown from what it could have been.
I have to agree.
It wasn't that great. I'd say, honestly, probably like in the 6 range, you know, for taste.
And, you know, you looked at it earlier and had a completely different opinion. You're like, I don't know. So you had kind of lower expectations, where I had high expectations for it. I thought, this is going to be awesome. And, you know, I was a lot more let down, where you thought, oh, this is not so bad. And that kind of is where you got that imbalance. But
so I was at 6, where were you?
I'm going to have to say 6 on taste. You were mentioning the Drew Estate, stuff like that would have been a lot better for this kind of newer, hipper, if you're going to say words like that, kind of scene.
Right, and it's not their first cigar. They had another one before. I didn't smoke it, but it does remind me of a cigar like maybe 10 years ago or something. Yeah. It's just, there's a whole new, you know, body of blending. There's a whole new way of cigar going on in this reignition of interest in cigars, and it seems like they kind of missed the boat on this one.
Yeah. Now we'll talk about the build of the cigar, which I have to say is the one thing that really stood out to me, besides the X factor, the wow factor. The build of this cigar is fantastic. You know, you definitely see that there is some heritage in the rolling and creation of the cigars, you know, which comes from Camacho and Davidoff, but, you know, which are all older brands with the older taste, as we mentioned earlier. You know, mine smoked very, very well. It has a very almost razor line burn to it. Yours even had a pretty large runner at the very beginning, and it leveled out perfectly. I would have to rate the build pretty highly. I'd rate the build at about an 8. Yeah,
I totally agree, man. We were talking about these different brands that they maybe could have went with, or the different blends that those other guys are going with. The reality is they did find a good manufacturer, and that is, you know, seen in the build quality.
Yeah.
It's a complicated roll. and it's a long cigar. Man, it takes some talent to do that, and it smoked really, really well as far as draw, as far as construction, holding together, and the burn, the ash, everything was fantastic. The people that made the cigar, great. The people who chose the blend, not so good. And I would say that I agree. It's probably in that 8 range, just because it's longer, just because in that roll, it's probably in that 8 for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Now, one of the great things about this cigar is its X factor, its wow factor. That is one thing this cigar has a lot of, probably more than it needs to have.
I think it's okay to have that type of X factor. I just sure wish they would have backed it up
exactly
with a great blend.
It's a lot of talk with not a lot of walk.
What about the value of the cigar? What do you pay for these cigars? You picked these up out of town and brought them back.
$12.95. Value of the cigar, too much, as far as I'm concerned. I could have smoked a $5 cigar that I would have been blown away with compared to this. As far as taste and just overall, the overall cigar just is not there for the value that you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for a $13 cigar, when you think of it like having it in your humidor, it's really cool, something cool to look at.
Yeah.
When it comes to smoking enjoyment, there's a lot of other cigars out there in that price range that are far superior when it comes to your smoking experience. It could be great.
Yeah, it could be.
With the right blend, this cigar could have been a great value at $13 because of the length, because of the roll, because of the style. Man, just that critical component, really, of the blend is not there. And if it wasn't for that, I would have said, hey, it's a great cigar, a great value probably when you compare it to other stuff in that range, but it just isn't there. I'd say that this is probably overpriced by about 35%.
I could not agree more.
Where are you at for your overall rating of the cigar?
My overall rating for this cigar is probably going to fall at a 6.5. It is so close to just reaching a category 3, just maybe on the cusp, but there's just some work that needs to go into it to make it a 7, to make it something solid that is what I would rate a category 3 overall without a doubt. This is right in between category 2 and 3.
Yeah, here's my assessment. Here's the deal, man. Most of the cigars in this price range, they've got it figured out. When you look at our ratings and when we rate these, you don't have this big discrepancy. This is by far the cigar with the most discrepancy between ratings in different sections of any cigar we've smoked, where it's like way high up here on one factor and way down here on the other. And so, yeah, it's got a great build quality. It's got amazing, X factor. Not a great taste, and honestly, not a great end. There's no way I can smoke this to nub. It's out. His is out. It's gotten tight down here at the bottom. You cannot smoke this down to a nub. And so, I think overall rating, it's probably in that 6 range, honestly. I really wanted to rate it higher, given the other factors, but I can't because it's just not there. I'd say the cigar is a solid 6, which makes it out of our category 3 premium cigars, and it's marketed and sold as a premium cigar, and it definitely carries a premium cigar price.
It tries so hard to be that category 3 premium cigar, but it just falls so short as far as taste and aroma goes. I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That wraps up the review of the One Shot One Kill from Rum 101.
We really hope you enjoyed the review and learned a lot from it. If you've got some ideas or comments or questions about the cigar or us, go ahead and leave them below, or leave them on Facebook or Google+, and we'll be glad to absolutely get back to you and just let you know what we're thinking. If you've got any just anything that you got to recommend for us to smoke, we'll do it if you recommend it to us. So go ahead, leave a comment, leave a suggestion, and we'll get back to you. And as always, just you might not want to put this one in your humidor unless you just want something flashy, but keep smoking, keep exploring like we do, and just have a great day.
We'll see you next time.